Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week so far. Hope everybody's doing good, getting outside. I already know y'all are drinking your all's water. I know you're going for walks. I know you're telling your family. I already know all that, so we're not going to get into it. But I hope everybody is doing good. Hi. How are you? So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a highly requested story. A lot of you guys were sending me over on Instagram. I'm saying last week and the week before, I must have gotten it 10 times a day. I'm still getting it about once every day, and we're going to talk about it today. This old Taylor. This is something that just happened in the beginning of March, and yeah. Before we get into it, though, I do want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things more casually over there, more laid back, that type of thing. I also have a Patreon. I'm a Patreon is for 18 and up. We go live over there. We do some true crime stuff over there. It's a good time if you're 18 and up and you'd like to join. As a matter of fact, tonight, video will be going live over there. We will be going over the full criminal complaint of Taylor Schabusiness. And we'll be talking about all of the things that are not appropriate for YouTube over on my Patreon. So if you guys want to join, just click the link in the description box, as well as my Instagram and my Facebook. All that's linked down below if you want to come and check me out. So before we get into this, I want to talk to my boy moms out there. Okay, now I know some of y'all are girl moms and dads, and some of y'all are, boy dads. But I'm talking to the moms, okay, because I'm one, and it's me and y'all right now. You know how it's kind of like that myth or that, I don't know what word you would use. Let me know what word I'm looking for here. A stigma or something, this thing that like little girls, like their parents, have to watch out for the boys, right? It's all about the boys, like protect the little girls, the little boys are troubled, da. What we don't talk enough about is girls influencing the boy, because it happens, okay? And girls influence girls and boys influence boys, that all too. But it's just like, it's like this stigma, this long-term thing that like, and I do believe anybody can pull or influence anybody for whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say here. But I know for me as a boy mom, it is a concern that my boys fall in love with or marry or become happy with somebody that is good for them and loves them and has their best interest in their, in their heart and their mind, and is going to fight for them and be a good influence and a good life partner. However, every now and then you see these situations where you're like, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's just start at the beginning. Taylor Schabusiness, who is 24 years old, changed her last name to Schabusiness in 2018. She was before that Taylor Denise Coronado. Now, Taylor, according to her Facebook, she is married and she has a little boy that she delivered in last year of 2021. Cutest little boy too. She posts little videos of him. Obviously not gonna post him, but just a little adorable little baby. I sure hope and pray he's with somebody that's loving him and guiding him and treating him right now. Nevertheless, to go on, according to her Facebook and things that I found online, Taylor claims to be married to a guy named Warren Schabusiness. Now, this is kind of weird because Warren's last name, Schabusiness, is spelled different than her last name on Facebook. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's a fake Facebook name. Some of y'all know some of y'all's Facebook names is Cookie Cutter Christina. Y'all know how it is. Some of y'all is, Blueberry Blake. Some of y'all put y'all's names like that, right? And so I do wonder, about his last name, but nevertheless, he's in prison. Okay, so this is a picture of them. She went and visited him in prison. And a lot of people would consider Taylor to be a beautiful young girl, a beautiful young woman. You know, in this case, I'm going to say pretty is as pretty does, and we're going to keep on moving. So the man she claims is her husband is in prison. Now, he's been in prison for a while, so there are some rumors going around on the internet that her little baby is not her husband's baby. I don't know. None of it makes sense to me, but you get it. It's one of these situations. She's pregnant. Is that the baby daddy? Is that the husband? Are they really married? Why is it? It's one of them situations, but we'll keep going here. Now, Taylor has quite the criminal record already at her young age. I mean, in 2020, she was in all kinds of trouble, y'all. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Using the internet without having ExpressVPN is like going to the public bathroom and kicking the door wide on open and letting everybody walk around and seeing your junk. Every time you connect to an unencrypted Wi-Fi network at airports, hotels, coffee shops, even when you're driving down the road and your Wi-Fi is catching different internet sources, your personal information and data is at risk. A hacker connected to the same unencrypted Wi-Fi network as you can steal your personal information. And with only basic computer knowledge, the hacker could even gain access to your passwords, financial details, and even your emails. But ExpressVPN encrypts your internet connection using the highest standard of encryption currently available. It would take a hacker with a supercomputer billions of years to hack your data. And the ExpressVPN app is so easy to use. All you do is open up the app, press a button, and bam, you are protected. And I am so thankful that I can trust ExpressVPN to protect our personal data. Use your phone and visit expressvpn.com/Christina Randall Mobile and get 7 free days and try ExpressVPN today. Now, this is a mobile offer, so if you want to try ExpressVPN, go right now to expressvpn.com/Christina Randall Mobile and get your 7 free days today. Thanks again, ExpressVPN. She was running from the police. She got an assault on a Leo. She got a battery for this. She got a paraphernalia with this. She got another running from the police for this. She's got probation for this and probation for that. And as a matter of fact, she was on probation just this year when she got in trouble for what we're going to be talking about. And she got sentenced to 6 months. Now, according to the records that I could find, little Miss Taylor was actually on a GPS monitor. Now, I don't know how they run it up there in her state, but down here, that would be like she's on house arrest, where they have the little monitor around and make sure she's just going to work or she's just going wherever and she's coming back home, right? But it is said that she cut that mammer jammer off and decided she was going to go do whatever she wanted to do at this point. She said, bump the kid, bump the husband, bump the life. I'm going to cut this thing off and I'm going to go and party. And that's exactly what she did. Now, little Miss Taylor was very much into substances and substance abuse. Heavy stuff. So you guys are following me here. We got young Taylor, 24 years old, got this criminal background online talking about this is her husband, Warren, going and visiting him in the prison. I'm gonna hold it down for you, baby. All of that good jazz. Got a 1-year-old precious little baby boy that's obviously in somebody else's care. She's getting in trouble with the police. She's using substances. She gets arrested. She's on probation. She's on house arrest. She cuts that monitor off and she leaves, okay? She gets hemmed up with this young man, a 25-year-old man named Shad, okay? From what I could find, Shad and Taylor were lovers. They were sleeping together. They were running the streets together, doing substances together. And the gist that I can get from it is Taylor was more of the like dominating personality in the relationship. And Shad was the more laid back, on his usage, getting through life type of personality, okay? And according to their Facebooks, like he was having some dark moments. I scrolled through his Facebook right here and like, to me, it looked like little tiny cries for help. It also looked like he may have been in some sort of relationship with somebody and been arguing with them. Like, you know, you can kind of try to interpret it any way you want to, but it seemed like there may have been some ups and downs with their lovership. Now, on February 22nd of this year, 2022, all of their lives would be changed forever. Shad's life, Taylor's life, her son, Shad's mother, anybody that knew them and loved them on February 22nd, 2022. So what happened? So on February 21st at 9:30 p.m. on a Monday, Taylor went to Shad's house and picked him up. And that would be the last day that Tara, Shad's mom, would see her son alive. So when Taylor picked up Shad, they went to her apartment and they hung out for a bit. They were doing substances, they were partying, they were doing whatever, and then they got ready to pack everything up in the vehicle and go back to Shad's house and go down into the basement. Tara, Shad's mom, would later say that she saw the two of them go down into the basement late Monday night or early Tuesday morning. Now, Taylor would later say that she shot her and Shad up with a medication named trazodone. If you do not know what trazodone is, from what I could find, it is like an antidepressant, or it can be used for insomnia. It can be used for multiple different things. Actually, that was like one of the main things that went around in the jails and prisons, because it was like the closest thing that people could get to like a hard substance. It's a sedative. So she was shooting them up with that, and they were smoking. A friend would later say that at the apartment, she saw Shad and Taylor smoking together, and that she saw them using the IV situation, and she didn't use that part, and then she left, and then that's when Taylor and Shad left to go to Shad's mom's house and went down into the basement. Now, this is when things get really, really fuzzy, and this is also when I'm going to give you guys because this is going to be a little bit gory, but it's going to be way more gory on Patreon. So if you guys want to hear us go over it, go over there, or just click the links down in the description box and read the stuff for yourself. But other than that, we're going to keep moving here. On February 23rd at around 2:30 or 3:30 a.m., Tara, Shad's mom, woke up after hearing the storm door of the basement slam. Then she heard the sound of a vehicle driving off. She assumed that this was Taylor leaving. Now, she would also later say that they were down there for that couple days and that she heard talking the whole entire time, and she just thought, it's Taylor down there with Shad. Then when she heard this door slam and the car skirt off, she decided she was going to go down to the basement and check on her son. She saw that the basement light was on, and so she went in to see if he was still there or if he ended up leaving with Taylor. She looked around, she peeked her head around corners, she said his name. She didn't see anyone. Tara started to go back up the stairs when she noticed a bucket at the bottom of the stairs. It was in an odd place. She'd never seen that bucket sitting there. She noticed that there was a blanket over the bucket, and she was like, what is this? She's already suspicious. She walks down, she goes over to the bucket, she reaches down for the blanket, she pulls the blanket up, and she sees her son's head staring up at her. Oh yeah, this just happened. I could imagine she screamed in horror. I mean, falling all over, like losing it, an out-of-body experience. She is flipping out, screaming bloody murder. She rushes to the phone to call 911. The police get there and she is shaken up. You can imagine, okay? If it would have been a stranger, much less your child, your son. The police get there. When they go in and they start looking around, it is like a blood bath. There is blood everywhere. She lets the police know that Taylor is the last person that's been there. She tells them all about her and where she thinks what she's driving, where she's living. And so the police go over to where her apartment is and they're looking for her. The police would later say that when they pulled up to the apartment, they started searching her van. Then Taylor came out of the apartment and she stopped right dead in her tracks when she saw the police. The officers said that Taylor came straight out the house. She had blood all over her sweatshirt, all over her pants. She just came out like it was nothing. Like she was just in there painting or something with red paint. She had blood all over her. Like, hi, excuse me, officers. You're looking for something? Imagine what these officers are thinking, right? Like, it's a horror movie. The police started questioning her. They asked her, do you know why we're here? And she said something to the effect of, yes, for my warrant. She didn't say what her warrant was for. Maybe she was talking about the monitor that she'd cutting off her leg. But the officers were like, Yep, something like that. So they start asking her questions. They start telling her about the head being found by Shad's mom. And her first kind of response is, wow, that's really effed up. And they start to question her. Can you imagine them talking to her like she's completely bloody? Like, wow, that's really messed up. They question her more, and eventually she tells them that yes, she did it. And then she kind of laughs at some point and says that they're going to have fun finding all of his body parts. When they were searching her vehicle, they found a crock pot that had additional body parts, including his leg. Taylor would later tell the cops that her and Shad were doing substances, including smoking, and that she was with the trazodone, and that they started engaging in. Now, this is when things get even more bizarre and more weird. She said that Shad went and put this chain around his neck. Now, it is described as kind of like those dog chains. You guys know what I'm talking about? The ones that are like, it's a chain, and it had like, you loop it through itself, so if you go too far, it tightens. That he went and put this chain around his own neck because he was ready to get down with the get down, okay? She told the cops that strangulation was a normal part of her and Shad's life. So this was no different in her mind. She said that Shad laid down face first on the bed and that she got on top of him and began to pull the chain. She liked it so much. They were then doing the deed at some point. I guess he flipped over or whatever, and she started pulling it. And this is when she said that she could not stop pulling it. She pulled it and pulled it and pulled it, and he began to choke. And the strangulation went past a game and into she was really strangling him. She said that Shad had on 2 chains, one that was the dog choke collar and then another regular silver chain. Taylor then said that she blacked out and she went crazy and she don't know what happened. She also insisted that she didn't mean to kill him, but she enjoyed choking him. Taylor talked about how she sat on top of him and she choked him and she watched him as he coughed up blood, waiting for him to die. She told the detectives that at one point she knew he was dead because his face turned purple and blood was coming from his mouth. The cops asked her why she didn't stop when she saw that. She said she had already gone too far at that point and she just didn't want to stop herself. Then Taylor told the officers how she played with Shad's body. And you guys, when I tell y'all she played with his body for hours. We'll talk about the details over on Patreon, but I give you guys a little snippet of it. She performed things on him, on his dead body, and then she ended up cutting those body parts off. Oh yeah, she was putting it all in her mouth region after he was dead and then chopped it off. Okay? Yeah. She also talked about using a toy on his lifeless body and then chopping his body into bits. The officers asked her what she used to dismember him, and she said she walked upstairs and went to the kitchen and got a couple knives. So she had to have been sawing and sawing and sawing to completely cut his head off, to cut his legs off, to cut his body in pieces. And this is later when she kind of, laughs and says, you're going to have fun finding all those body parts. And then when they told her again that the mother found the head in a bucket, she was like, oh, I forgot the head. Now, it's a little bit confusing because she's saying that she killed him like earlier in the day, and then she played with his body for hours, and then she spent time chopping him up. I mean, this went on for like a day before she finally left. And left that. And then you imagine the mother. Y'all, okay, let's keep going here. Taylor later told the officers that she preferred to use the bread knife because it was serrated over the other knife that she had, and it was a little bit easier to cut through the bone. When the officers asked her why she didn't move all the body parts or what happened, she said that she just got tired and became lazy. And then that's also like dang, I cannot believe I forgot the head. She originally planned on bringing all of the body parts with her when she left Shad's house. But again, that's when she said she got lazy and she only put the leg and the foot in her van. Shad's male parts were found in the same bucket as his head, you guys. Other body parts were found in a variety of bags in the basement. The upper torso was found in the storage tote, along with a carving knife and several internal organs. What kind of twisted world was she in? On Tuesday, March 1st of 2022, Taylor made her first appearance in Brown County Court via video court conference on the charges of first-degree murder, intentional homicide, mutating a corpse, and third-degree SA. The Assistant District Attorney, Caleb Saunders, stated that this is one of the most serious offenses we have had in this county in a long time. A court commissioner has set the bond at $2 million cash during the hearing, deeming her a flight risk. Taylor was ordered to make her next appearance in 3 weeks, and if she is convicted, she faces life in prison. The family of Shad started a GoFundMe, and I will leave it linked down below. I just cannot imagine what they're going through. That poor mother. I could just turn this camera off right now and just cry my eyes out for her. Like, I want to be optimistic, you guys. I want to be optimistic and say with a lot of therapy, life will go on. But she's going to need a lot. Lord, I'm going to pray for her. She needs a miracle from Jesus to even, I can't. I can't. And I know a lot of y'all watching this have been through a lot of things. You've experienced a lot of things. I mean, just no parent should ever, 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 ever have to bury a child in the best circumstances. I don't know what that means, but you get what I'm saying. But in this situation, it's devastating. Now, I have a lot of opinions about things. Like, I have questions. Like, did the mom, she had to have known, something maybe was up with him, and maybe she couldn't help. Maybe she could, but I'm not going to go into all those questions that I would, because this is too fresh, just out of respect for her. But I mean, when I look at this picture right here, and this may just be me judging a book by its cover, I'll be honest with you guys. He looks like he's high on something. Okay, now, I don't know. As a mother, I just don't, and this is, by no means is this her fault. By no means, absolutely not her fault, not her fault. But we're always thinking like, what could we have done differently? What could we have done this? And I know me as a mother, I'm always, like, every time I put my son to bed, I'm thinking, how could I make this day better? And I don't know what was up with this. I don't know what was up with him and this chick. I don't know if maybe he felt insecure and he was with her. I don't know. This young lady, Taylor, now, she looks scary to me. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. She's pretty, okay, as far as, like, I guess, social standards, as far as looks-wise, but she has darkness in her eyes, and she's scary. Like, look at this picture right here and tell me that if you woke up and she was standing over you in the bed, you would not jump up out your skin and through the roof into the second floor of your building. There is no way. She looks like darkness. Now, I want to get into this whole substance thing. Now, I watched some professionals talk about the fact that when you mix substances like that, people can have psychosis, they can have reactions. These types of things can happen. And actually the man, and I will leave that video linked down below too, but he briefly says in there that this type of thing does happen. I mean, just what doesn't make it to the mainstream media? And when I hear stories like this, or when I hear stories about like Precious Doe, did you guys watch that video, Precious Doe? Situations like this where the parents are on substances and they do horrendous things. This is why I personally cannot get behind the full legalization of. I know that is a debate. I know it's a very, my body, my choice. If I want to do this, whatever. But this is why I cannot get behind it. Okay, like chemically altered substances like this. Okay, now I do know that those type of things can happen with alcohol or whatever. I don't believe it can happen with the plant, but I don't think so. You know what I mean? But like these chemicals, like people do the wildest stuff on that stuff, man. I just can't get behind it. Anyways, so Taylor is obviously in a state that does not have a death penalty, and obviously in a pretty relaxed state, because with all these other charges, she was on house arrest. And honey, here, when you put your hands on a law enforcement officer and then you turn around and run from a law enforcement officer and then you get put on probation and you do something else and you they would have been packed her bags up and sent her on down the road. But that's here in Florida. Yes, this is a crazy situation. Have y'all heard about this? I am going to be following the case. I did just see that, I believe it was yesterday, her attorney has requested that she have like the evaluation to make sure she's mentally competent to stand trial. I tend to think that this was a drug-induced psychosis versus her just being mentally out there. I think she was on that mess and she was going super duper hard, but then again, I don't know. So, and I hope she don't think, but if she is mentally competent, that she's going to get, this is going to be an out for her. If anything, they're going to send her to a mental hospital, which is, from what I've heard from some of y'all have told me, is worse than prison if you're not mentally unstable. So, have y'all heard about this? Have you? Let me know in the comments section down below. Pray for the family, y'all. Pray for that mother's healing. I'm sure this young man had a lot of people that loved him, but that mother, And the GoFundMe's down below if you guys want to help out. All right, I'll be looking forward to reading your comments. You all have a wonderful weekend. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars.